Hey everyone, I wanted to do another video on flow in my tank now that I've kind of changed things up a little bit since my first video after the setup. Um, so I had a power head in here that was around 150 gallons an hour, and it did an okay job from the beginning. It was a little weak. It really wasn't meant for a tank of this size, and it did an okay job, but I definitely needed more flow in the tank, and so that's what I've done recently. I've kind of just DIY'd it. I mean, this whole thing is all DIY. It's trying to keep it low cost as possible. Um, but so what I did, if you can look up in the back there, I have actually the old return pump for my 20 gallon. I have it set up here, and I have a magnet glued to the back of it so I can actually set it where I want to. And then I have a 45-degree elbow on it, so it's actually pushing out about 300 gallons an hour or so, give or take, through the tank. You can kind of see the flow on top, how it kind of goes from that corner about 2/3 of the way through the tank here and kind of spreads out all over. And you can see the frog spawn here is moving a lot better. You can see it's kind of random how the flow is hitting the frog spawn. It's just moving really nicely. It's way better than it was before. Also, all the zoanthids over here, they're all getting a low amount of flow, kind of like what they want, because they're sort of in the eddy over here. It's a lot slower, but also there's a lot less detritus buildup. I noticed the first few days that I had this set up with a lower flow, these plate corals would get detritus buildup on them. Now there isn't any because there's just so much more water moving in the tank. So I have that one up there. You can see it's blowing at a 45-degree angle, and then I have a small power head that's about 150 gallons an hour. Maybe it's closer to 120, but that's in the back corner, and that's facing directly at this corner. So we have flow going at a 45, and then also flow going 90 degrees, kind of turning counterclockwise. And those two are mixing together and making a kind of a nice flow for the GSP on the back here, and then also these hammers that are back here. You can see they're moving better than they were before, kind of randomly, not one way or the other, kind of back and forth, which is what I wanted. And then also, much like before, I have the return. You can see there with the GSP is angled at about 45 degrees, and then it's also pointing down at about 30 degrees. That's as far down as I could get it to angle, but that's pushing all the new heated, fresh, clean water down underneath the arch here and kind of mixing up in the bottom of the tank. And that's really what I really wanted. I really wanted the fresh water, the warm water, to be pushed at the bottom of the tank to kind of stir everything up. So I have water going in 3 different directions in here, and it seems to be working out pretty good. I set this up yesterday, and the coral definitely seemed a lot happier. I can see the GSP actually flowing back there. It looks really nice. All the zoanthids are happy. They're not getting too much flow or too little, it seems. The big frog spawn up front is looking great. It's actually moving around a decent amount. It's not too much, not too little. And since all the SPS coral are on top, it seems like they're getting a good amount of flow. Like, there's a lot of movement at the top of the water in this tank, so I think they're going to be just fine. So for now, this is what I'm going to stick with. I mean, this is all stuff that I just had around the house. I've kind of used it all before in my other tank, and I've rigged it up this way to make it work, and it seems like it's doing a great job. I'll probably stick with this for a while until I can save up enough money to get some better pumps. So I'd really like to get some kind of wave maker in here. That would be ideal. But I'm really sticking with like the minimal amount of pumps in the tank itself. Like, I just want it to be open and clean. So right now that corner's pretty cluttered, but having water going 3 different directions from that corner is working out really good. And you can see the toadstool back there. It's just moving every direction. It just looks great. So it's not getting blasted one way or the other. Also, you can't see it, but on that 45-degree angle on that return pump, there's actually a small part that comes out of the bottom of that that's actually shooting water straight down at the toadstool, and it's a really small stream. So that's just another thing that kind of randomizes the flow in the tank. And you can see the toadstool looks great. It's got good movement. All the polyps are moving around, not too much, not too little. And I really don't think there's any dead space. There's nothing on the bottom that's really catching a whole bunch of detritus. In the very back corner, you can actually see there's not really any sand back there because the clown likes to dig in the sand. So any kind of detritus buildup that would be back there, it's just not going to happen because she just blows it all out. And then when it comes out of that corner, it kind of gets spread all over the tank and down the filtration. Also, I did have a big mushroom coral like right underneath where the clown is in the bottom of the arch, and I didn't really want it there to begin with, but I was just trying to think of a better spot to put it. So what I did is I moved this big green mushroom in front, and then I put the big frag plug with the big mushrooms in the back. And they're pretty big too. This one over here is about 3 inches around. They take up a lot of space, but on the rock they look really good. They seem to be happy with the flow and lighting back here, and that also helps from any kind of detritus buildup in the sand, so it keeps the whole sand bed totally empty. And then also over here you can see my zoanthid rock. I've got my Sunny D's broken up into a few different groups. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 groups of them somewhere back there. I did have them on a disc back here in the corner, and it seemed to be fine. It didn't seem to collect any detritus or anything, but the goal in the beginning was to have no coral on the sand to begin with, so I decided to break it up and set it on the rocks, and they're doing great. It's going to make the rock look even better. So it just keeps the whole tank looking clean. And this is what I really wanted. I just wanted the whole bottom to be open and clean and easy to maintain. It just makes the tank feel bigger, and with the whole open scape, all open sand everywhere. Eventually, probably in another month or two, once the tank settles in, I'll probably get a diamond goby. That way he can just run through the whole sand bed and keep it mixed up. You can see I went with a thin sand bed here. It's about 1 inch. Some places a little deeper, some places a little shallower. But it was really easy to clean. The diamond goby can go through and sift through it, and then anything else I'll be able to pull right out with the siphon. So the sand will just stay clean. It'll be really easy to maintain. So you can see the flow in the tank is pretty decent. I know that some people have higher flow to some of their LPS corals, like the frog spawn. And this one, I've had it for 4 years now, maybe a hair over, and it's always kind of been in a medium to low flow setting in the 20 gallon. And you can see it's happy and healthy, it's growing, it's huge. It's a big coral. It's been doing great ever since I got it. Same with these guys too. These were both single heads just a few months back. And they're all doing good with the flow that they've had. And this tank has, I think, slightly better flow than the 20 gallon. And, with this new kind of temporary flow setup with these pumps back here, I think everything's going to do really well. So far, so good. But that's about it for this video. I definitely plan on making some more videos. Hopefully here shortly I'll get another fish. I think I'm going to get a lawnmower blenny soon. I'm starting to get a little algae growth on the rock. So I'll be getting lawnmower blenny to help keep that under control. And also coral. You can see I've got quite a bit of space left on the rock in this corner for zoanthids, especially around the corner. And I have quite a few species here that are going to spread. And I would like to have them all in like around 2-inch round groups. So a lot of these are going to stay, but I would like to add maybe 2 or 3 different more kinds to this rock to really fill it up. And I think by springtime, this rock's going to look pretty amazing after everything's grown out. So definitely more to come. Like this video if you guys want to see some more. Leave me a comment if you guys have any suggestions or any comments on my tank. And thank you.